Fed chairman says we are in the midst of the worst economy the U.S. has ever seen, and some experts are predicting the next quarter will be even worse due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the global shutdown.
After another dire unemployment report today, things are looking bleak. Economist Austan Goolsbee is the former chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors and a member of President Barack Obama's cabinet. He's also a professor at the University of Chicago's Booth School of Business, and he joins us now. Austan, I couldn't help but notice a common theme from you in the forum today, and that is the number one rule of virus economics has little to do with economics and everything to do with the virus.
That's exactly right. Look, this is not a normal business cycle, and that's a thing to remember. To see what we're about to see, which is unemployment rates in the space of 1 month soar into the double digits from very low levels. There has never been any regular recession, including the Great Depression, where it went up that fast. What we're hoping is that if we could get control of the spread of that virus, that in itself is the best thing you can do to help the economy come back. Because regular stimulus doesn't work when people are afraid. You can give them money, but they're not going to go out of their house and spend it unless they feel at least some control that when they go out, they're not going to bump into somebody who gives them this virus.
So correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying that it's a little too soon to start talking about coming back, because if you come back, no one's going to be there to buy anything.
Yeah, look, in a way, I think we've kind of gotten off into this almost pointless argument about when is the moment for the president of the United States or for a governor to declare that everybody can go back, because none of those people are the boss. The virus is the boss. Mm-hmm. And the economy went into free fall before there ever were shelter in place orders because people were afraid. And if President Trump got up on Monday morning and said, today it's safe, you can all go out, how many people would go out? I think there's still a lot of fear. You got to slow the rate of spread of that virus. Now, the good news is, if you look around the world, we got 5 or 6 major countries that have been able to get out of lockdown. And the way they have all done it is by a massive ramp up of testing, so that the only people who have to come out of commission are the people who have the disease. And we have to do that. Look, let's do it in Korea, now in Germany, soon to be in Australia and New Zealand. They're coming out of lockdown because they've gotten the rate of spread low enough that it's safe. And if we do that, we're not that far from it, but we got to redouble our efforts to get on that path.
Well, let's shift to economics then. Let's look back at some of the challenges we've had in the past. 9/11, you had, of course, a front row seat to the bank bailout in 2008. Is there any way to compare what we're going through now to that, or anything we can learn?
Yes. Now, all of those were nightmares. You know, anybody who was around and paying attention, 2008, 9, and into 10, or in 9/11, they were horrible. Those were horrible moments. This is, by any measured impact, much worse than any of those, worse than all of those put together. But it's not exactly a regular recession. And that's the thing I keep coming back to. In a normal recovery, the fastest you can get the unemployment rate down is about 1.5 points a year. So if the unemployment rate goes to 15 or even 20%, the normal rules would say it would take you a decade or more to get back to where you were before it started. But I don't think that those rules have to apply if we can follow the number one imperative of virus economics. If we can slow the rate of spread of that virus, if you could wave a magic wand and have a vaccine next month, I think the economy could go right back to doing what it was doing before. And the unemployment rate could drop very substantially and much faster than in a normal recession. But that's our challenge. We got to keep small business from liquidating and going bankrupt. We got to keep people from getting evicted or having their gas shut off while we're waiting for this thing to pass over us.
So you say that the economy is worse than it is in China. Is that because China got ahead of things?
Well, no, it's mostly because I wrote a piece predicting that if we had a health outbreak in the United States of the magnitude of what they had in China, it was going to be worse for our economy than China's because we're so much more driven by services than they are in China. And services are exactly the thing that gets pulled down when people are afraid. And unfortunately, my prediction has proven 100% true. So at that time I wrote that, it said, if we have a pandemic, who's going to want to go to the doctor? And healthcare is 17% of the U.S. economy, almost $1 in $5 in the whole economy. And that's the biggest thing shrinking right now. If you looked at the GDP numbers that just came out, the biggest reason why the GDP is collapsing is because nobody's going to the doctor and people are not going out shopping for anything but essentials. And no government data official had to tell you that. You know what they say, we're all in our houses and we're not going out to work. Everybody knows somebody who's lost a job or been laid off or been furloughed. And that's just replicated everywhere in the country. It's the worst 4 weeks in the history of the American job market.
Austin, clearly the federal backstop on this has been key, and I realize the Fed is now saying this is not the time to worry about debt, but how much more federal money realistically do you think this will take, and what is the long-term impact of that spending?
Well, I think it would take a lot more because this isn't even, I know some people are calling this stimulus, but this isn't stimulus. This isn't money that's intended to restart the GDP growth. This is just relief money that we're burning the money to stay warm while we're trying to get the heat back working. And I think that only works while you keep putting money in the furnace. So it's going to require significantly more. And I think you can already see people are getting weary about it. I don't think by any means in the short run should we be thinking about, well, how much does this cost and can we pay for it? In the short run, it's like, as I said in the forum today, in June of 1944, the last thing you want Dwight Eisenhower to be thinking before D-Day is, what taxes do I need to raise to make D-Day revenue neutral? Look, you've got to win this battle. That's by far the most important thing. As we come out of it, we will then have to make choices about who's going to pay higher taxes. We do have to spread out the cost of this because it's going to be an astronomical cost. But it's one that we definitely have to pay, and we do have the capacity to pay it.
And what grade do you give the U.S. right now as far as how they're dealing with this?
At best, I give them an incomplete, but I am a tough grader. I think I appreciate and I think it is really good that they moved as quickly as they did. I think now the administrative detail absolutely needs more attention. We can't have a system where, if you go look in Florida, they got millions of people filing to get their unemployment benefits for relief, and literally 6 out of 7 people have not even had their applications processed. It requires administrative attention, and we've got to get at the highest levels of government, including the president, on board with the idea that this is a crisis. We need to ramp up the testing, and it's not just automatically going to get better. The third quarter is not automatically going to look great. It's going to require tons of work on our part to get that testing apparatus up.
Thank you, Professor Austin Goolsbee, the University of Chicago's Booth School of Business. Appreciate it.
Thank you.